What's going on, everyone, and welcome to Movie Emporium's movie review of The Card Counter. This film is directed by Paul Schrader. Now, before we begin, if you like this channel, awesome, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium, hit that notification bell top to find out what's coming next. If you like any of these videos, awesome, hit that like button, as well as commenting below on any video that you watch, including this one. So, The Card Counter is Paul Schrader's latest movie. If you don't know who Paul Schrader is, he of course wrote and produced Taxi Driver, that was directed by Martin Scorsese, recently did First Reformed, and this story tells the story of a character named William Tell, who of course is played by Oscar Isaac. He is a card counter, but he is very good at collecting money to kind of support his lifestyle, which is, play poker and blackjack and all that stuff. Well, he comes across this young man, this young kid, who of course is played by Sheridan, who plays Kirk, and Kirk's character has kind of not a history of William Tell, but his father does, and it starts to open old wounds and old situations that involve the past of William Tell's character, that of course kind of rolls into the Willem Dafoe Gordo character, and it also includes a character played by Tiffany Haddish, who plays Linda, who kind of bankrolls him into these different poker tournaments. But in essence, this movie goes from being about a guy who just kind of plays poker and blackjack to a much bigger, much more interesting kind of dark story about William Tell's past in the military, how he's connected with Gordo, and how he is trying to close down his past, and how he's trying to just kind of be on his own for the his career. And he starts to help out Sheridan's character, and it starts to kind of spiral out of control in a lot of ways as they kind of go across country making money and so on and so forth. So Paul Schrader, as a writer-director, is well known for being very not subtle with his kind of concepts and kind of ideas to movies. When he gets into an idea that he really likes or he wants to talk about, he will find a way to create a movie around that. For instance, like First Reform dealt with like the world's problems with the ozone and the fact that like war and all these problems were kind of spiraling out of control for this priest who did some crazy stuff at the end of the movie. And in this movie, I thought this movie was going to be more of like a Rounders take with a guy who's really into card counting, who kind of gets enlisted with this younger guy and starts to affect the situation. But, to be fairly honest, and it is in kind of the trailers and stuff like that, this is more in line with like the Mauritanian, where it deals with some really hard subject matters about what the possible Bush administration or some other administrations were dealing with certain prisoners of war and stuff like that. So in essence, this movie is about the idea and concepts of how our past affects our future, how the things we try to run from end up coming back to bite us in the ass. And it's very much a movie about human fragility and human concepts and human ideologies, and about how we have to kind of live up to the things that we do, the things that we create, the things that we are possibly not well known for or not good for. And so with this movie premiering at the recent Venice Film Festival, it was a film that for the most part got pretty decent reviews, especially for Oscar Isaac's performance, which they're calling an Oscar level performance. It's a movie I wanted to see because I really like Paul Schrader. I like the fact that he's willing to broach subjects similar to like Oliver Stone in situations like that, where they're willing to kind of say what they feel. They're willing to wrap it around a very interesting story. And on top of that, like I said, the movie has, Sheridan and Willem Dafoe, and of course Tiffany Haddish in a much more subdued role. So with that said, I was really looking forward to this movie, and kind of the things worked out. I was able to finally see it because it finally came to theaters, and I'm honestly very, very mixed about this movie. I think the first half of this movie is really compelling. I think when you kind of slowly start learning about Oscar Isaac's character, when you start learning about Sheridan's character, when you learn a little bit more about the Willem Dafoe character and how they kind of wrap around with each other, the plans that are starting to formulate, the fact that Oscar Isaac kind of takes into this kid under his wing because he kind of sees the level of situation that he sees himself in this kid, and what the kid's kind of formulating and stuff like that, and how he's trying to help the kid is really compelling and really well done and really well scripted and directed. It's when the stuff starts getting really kind of weird and creepy and it's kind of strange and kind of just overcompensating for itself near the end of the movie, where I just started to feel like the movie was kind of falling off the face of the earth, and it kind of just completely just kind of disassembled itself. It gets to a point in this movie where there's some things that happen between Willem Dafoe and Sheridan and Oscar Isaac. There's stuff that happens between Oscar Isaac and Sheridan, Sheridan that really felt just kind of just like Paul Schrader didn't really know how to end the movie. He didn't really know what he wanted. He was having this kind of great build up with, who Oscar Isaac is and who, the Oscar Isaac William Tell character is and the Ty Sheridan character is, that you just feel like the movie just kind of starts missing as the movie moves along towards its final conclusion. And that's such a shame because First Reform had such a really interesting kind of build up and then a very really kind of strange, kind of odd conclusion that kind of made sense. Here it makes a little bit of sense, but it's a little confusing in its own right. So I think it's just not a great ending, but still has so much there, so much Oscar-worthy performances, especially from Oscar Isaac, that the film really has some really cool moments, and especially when it tries to mirror what William Tell's character, the Oscar Isaac's character, did with the gambling aspects. And he explains how, how count cards, and he explains how poker works and stuff like that. So it has a Rounders/21 feel, but then it gets into like some Mauritanian stuff. And it's just a really, really interesting movie that just doesn't conclude very well. So overall, I think the world building is really nice. I think, Tiffany Haddish is pretty good as a very subdued character. Ty Sheridan's really good in the movie, as well as Willem Dafoe's not really in the movie very much, but you like when you see him in those types of movies. But in the end, the performance that Oscar Isaac gives in this movie is really something special. And he is once again showing how good of an actor he truly is and how he can build himself and how the menace and kind of the subdued nature to his character really starts to kind of slowly peel away, and you start to see who he truly is. And that's a really kind of interesting kind of dichotomy, and that's why I actually kind of agree it's an Oscar-worthy performance. Whether he gets an Oscar nomination is a different story, but overall I just kind of liked what he did. I liked where his story was going, but I just didn't like how the story eventually concluded itself. So with that said, I still think it's an interesting film. I still recommend it to people who like Paul Schrader or like films that have a lot of deeper meanings than just the surface level stuff of like card counting and stuff like that. But overall, pretty good movie, just didn't conclude very well. So with that said, that's my take on the card counter. Thank you so much for watching. Comments below if you've ever heard of this movie, or if you like Paul Schrader, what's your favorite Paul Schrader movie, what's your favorite movie that has like a lot of subtext to it, all that good stuff. But if you like what you see on this channel, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium, hit that notification bell at the top to find what's coming next. If you like any of these videos, awesome, hit that like button, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.